The deal is this. Tell you, when I was a kid that read Dropper Hunter and Wilson, all this real. Tell you, when I was a kid that read Dropper Hunter and Wilson, all this real. Yeah, I'm pissed. Yeah, I'm pissed. Come on. What do we feel? Come on. What do we feel? Okay, by the time we finish this, you're all going to be practicing magicians.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I talk about all things X-Men, and we are in the middle of the Planet X arc. Basically, the penultimate arc in the new X-Men as penned by Grant Morrison. We're having a good time, Gary. Not really. No, everything is bad.
No, but podcasting is fun, and comics are fun.
Sure.
The virus can't take away 20-year-old comics from us.
That's true. And the ability to talk to each other from thousands of miles away without contaminating one another, unless the coronavirus has gotten way more powerful in the last 6 hours since
the techno coronavirus.
God, don't even joke. If you
say
that,
techno
if you say it out loud, it'll come true, Gary. You can't say that. To catch people up, Magneto turned out to be Zorn turned out to be Magneto in disguise. Magneto has set his plan in motion to destroy all of Charles's dreams. Charles is currently kidnapped naked in a weird tube in Magneto's sitting room, I guess. I don't know what you would call this room.
Yep.
I have a room in my house.
Bubbles covering his balls.
Strategic bubbles at all times. Wolverine has just killed Jean Grey as they are about to plunge themselves into the sun. Scott is missing. I don't think Scott is just kind of out there somewhere. We don't know where he is. Jean and Emma and Beast are also missing. Things are going bad for our heroes.
Yeah. And this is the turning point. This is the rallying point. We're going to get a lot of good stuff with kids in this issue. The X-Men are going to start rallying their forces before New X-Men 150, so big milestone episode next time. The cover of this is a new artist. I don't know who actually is doing this cover. It looks like Ashley Wood. I don't think it is, though, because
Christopher Shaw.
Christopher Shaw.
Yeah,
it's crazy looking. I think this is neat and weird and scary.
Yeah. Zorn is this weird Silent Hill character. He's really, really good.
I was just going to say Silent Hill. It's extremely Silent Hill.
Yeah. And I see the Ashley Wood stuff that you're saying here too. I can definitely see that.
In the coloring almost.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I remember finding the first Ashley Wood's vampire comics in the store, just not knowing anything about creators or hardly or anything. Just this looks, oh my God, what is this? This doesn't look like anything that I've ever seen.
Yep.
So that was a cool experience.
So,
we start out in New York City, where Magneto and his brotherhood of wee little mutants have corralled
babies,
little mutant babies, have corralled all of humanity into what has to be Central Park. I guess I don't really recognize any of these landmarks that they're showing me, like this angel statue or whatever.
Yeah, and where we left off, this situation was Magneto telling Beak that he had to, start with the extermination. They're doing a demonstration. Toad's been telling Magneto listen, you need to do some horrific stuff because people are starting to lose faith. They're saying they have all the humans kind of corralled up, and Magneto is like, are you ready to activate the crematoria, Beak?
Excuse me?
Wait. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Magneto.
I think I'm at the wrong party. I just came here to swap keys and get a little freaky. I did.
Exactly. I thought everyone was going to hook up their external hard drive to each other's laptops and steal MP3s. I didn't know this was going to be like this.
Is this not a Call of Duty LAN party? Am I in the wrong spot?
Yeah, and Beak in this, Beak is great in both these issues. Hey, this started as politics and freedoms, but we all turned into Nazis. And, this is obviously important to Magneto's backstory. He says, do I look like a failed artist with a neurotic grudge against my father and the world? I'm Magneto. I'm not a Nazi. And of course, Magneto would reject the idea that he's doing Nazi shit. Our Magneto without kick probably would not march anyone into a crematoria specific.
And Magneto goes further to say, like, a new world demands new resolve. And Beak and Angel both push back against this. Like, Beak says, like, there's nothing new about marching people into ovens, which, like, yes. And then also Angel is, I don't know if I really want my kids growing up to be Imperial stormtroopers. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And even, like, Magneto is like, no, like, they're going to build statues of us. Like, tell him, Toad. And Toad is like, oh yeah, whatever Magneto says. Like, just do the thing. Just, hush your yaps. Just stop talking. Let's kill some humans already.
Yeah, I've been doing this since the 60s. Just do what Magneto says, and every once in a while, Mystique changes in front of you. It's great. Esme is backing him up. And she's like, it's a scientific fact that humans are a lower form of life. They admitted it when they called us Homo superior, which is like a kind of like a fun idea. Like, seems like a real cuck move for humans to call name mutants the better version of them.
Absolutely. I've always thought that was a really weird. I always thought that was Xavier or something that had done that and just been like there's also this kind of I guess it's a joke, but Esme says that Magneto wrote a brilliant article about how humans can't even feel pain the same way, and Beak says what everyone can feel pain, even a dog or a carrot can feel pain, and Magneto has to say what, a carrot can feel pain, and I just Ian McKellen, if you're on like whatever that website is,
Cameo, Ian McCameo about what a carrot can feel pain.
And Beak says, why not? Like, okay, maybe carrot's the wrong fruit to pick. And Magneto backhands him and says, it's a vegetable.
Yep.
And this is terrifying. Like, this is Magneto losing control and being like this angry, hostile person, and it's like actually terrifying, but it's so funnily written at the same time.
Well, it's like Beak's a kid.
Yeah.
Like Beak's an idiot kid who English is not his first language. Right? Like, Beak is German, I think, if I recall. This is, like him being this kind of like these malapropisms and stuff are Beak. And Magneto is coming to terms with the fact that he's trying to build his army out of these, we find our armies where we can, Toad. But he's losing patience. Like, he's losing his mind on drugs. Him backhanding Beak is causing Angel to turn. Like, this is the point at which he loses his allies over this issue. I love Angel kind of going to battle with the two babies, going, Mom, Dad. Like, it's like R-type options.
Yes.
Like, she's a Gradius with like an extra ship.
She's got powered up 3 times, and now she has extras. And she defends Beak. You're 8. Magneto, you're 8 foot tall, and he's nothing but chicken bones and hair. Like, he's not a killer. Like this, I don't know what you expected. Like. Yeah. And, Magneto just ignores it. Like, you should learn discipline. We're going to put Beak in with the humans. You're either with me or against me. And of course, you're just like my daddy, says Angel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're a bully. You're a piece of shit. And he's just like, no, I'll do what's necessary. He's, and Beak calls him a jerk. He's like, no, I'm designed by Mother Nature to prey on human organisms. Blame her. Our boy Basilisk, making the best of a bad situation, laughs and is like, hey, somebody passed gas right at this dramatic moment. But shit gets real. Magneto cannot handle this crew of idiots he has.
Yes.
And turns and kills Basilisk. Like, one-shots him.
Yeah, just fucking presumably like, chokes him to death or takes all the iron out of his blood or whatever. But like, he just fucking falls over dead. And he's like, oh, I only meant to teach a lesson, but like, and then he just immediately turns and flies off. It's like, Toad, we need a new guy. Go find somebody.
Yeah, go find a pyrokinetic to dispose of this body.
Wow.
Or we'll need a truck. And Toad goes, yuck. Like, it's so mean.
Basilisk going out, dying the way that he lived, telling really awful, dumb, immature jokes. But you have to really love it.
He's the best. The Beak and Angel who are on board with this, like, do not like this. Beak is like being dragged away by loyal mutants, and just like, you're losing it. The X-Men are going to come beat the crap out of you. And Magneto basically says like, no, you're going to be a soldier or you're going to be dead. They stuff him, the toadies stuff him into a car. While this is happening, Angel is watching, and Magneto is throwing all the cars up into the sky. So the cars with humans and the cars with Beak. He said put them with humans. This is how he's terrorizing the humans, by putting them in buses and stuff and throwing them up into the air.
Which, hey, legit terrified. Like if you were,
Oh yeah,
if you were on this bus, like you're fucking crapping your pants right now, like Jesus. And again, like this is some direct, like I feel like Magneto hasn't really gone directly after humans before. Like it's always been, I'm going to get the missiles that's going to kill the humans. Like this is like,
yeah,
I'm stuffing the humans into buses and tossing the buses around. Like this is fucking wild.
yeah. This is base. This is below you, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
So all the humans are presumably dying. Beak gets out and tries to fly. He thinks he's flying for a second, but then he falls and smashes himself on the way down, landing on the ground bleeding. And that's when we finally get our title page.
Yeah. Poor Beak. Like, you know,
Yep.
presumably he did because I don't know unless he's got a mutant healing factor. But yeah, that sucks for Beak, who is a character that I like a lot.
Yep. But he's okay. We immediately come back to, we flash forward a little bit of time, you know, the implication that he's been knocked out for a little while as people are going to go harvest him, or what have you, these mutants. As he's, you know, hurt, he says Xavier School, and they go, no, Magneto rules, and start beating the crap out of him.
Yes. Because you can't, I mean, he just fell like from the sky and presumably broke a bunch of bones, and now he's going to get beaten up by other mutants that hate him. And he's also mutants. Luckily, an old friend shows up, Eva, and picks him up to save him.
Yep. This explaining how Phantom X and Scott got back from space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we come back to him being examined by the Stepford Cuckoos. Basically, he's not dying. He's got nasty cuts and everything, but he's broken bones. But his skull is okay. And this is where the students who did not turn evil are.
Yes.
Including all of our favorite background players like Longneck.
Longneck.
Guy with the plaid shirt and the big hands.
Guy who hasn't changed his shirt in a while.
Yeah. The old shirt. Yeah, the Laundry Day is my code name.
My nervous system is external to my body, and it is a Hawaiian shirt that I never wash.
Have you ever tried washing your nervous system? It fucking stings.
Ugh, it's gross. Yeah, the Stepford sisters say that they are that Esme is no longer a part of them, that they are the 3-in-1 now. And yeah, basically is like, oh hey, like, you know, Beak is like, oh, Mr. Zord tricked me. I promise I'm not a bad guy. And they're like, yeah, we read your mind, dude. Don't worry about it. Also, this Dust here told us everything that happened.
Yep. So Dust, you know, this ends up making sense. Says Esme was using Martha Johansson, her super brain to influence all of your mind. And the reason why that didn't work on Dust was because Dust is, you know, when she's in sand form, you can't get to her mind.
Yes.
So that's how she was able to kind of start this. Great, you know, this is nonstop great lines from Beak. I love Magneto is not for beginners. Such a good line.
Like he got into like an advanced D&D campaign, right? Like he answered a Craigslist ad and was like, "Oh wait, I am not. No, I've just listened to the Adventure Zone one time. I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah. Magneto is not for beginners. He'll kill all of you. You know, is there even one person who can fight? And we cut over to Cyclops and Phantom X who are there, and then there's a shirt guy in the background.
Yep.
With his long arms. So I'm just making sure that guy's getting his due.
He's around. Everybody.
Yep.
I do love that Beak calls Cyclops Mr. Cyclops.
Yeah. But not Mr.
Funny.
Phantom X. Yeah. Phantom X is like a brother. Cyclops is like a dad.
Yes, of course. How does he even know who Phantom X is? Like it's such
I don't know. It's like after the whole thing in Paris.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
maybe there was a trading card
or something
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody got an email. Everyone got the Professor X mental newsletter in their sleep. Like, knew about town. Phantom X. Meet my newest X-Men, children.
Also, the cop from way back when that was investigating the murder that kind of kicked the series off is there. But of course, you know, Beak is like, there's no policeman who can fight this guy. There's no one in charge. And the sisters are like, yeah, he shut down all electromagnetic broadcast media. Everybody on the planet is blinded. Basically only allowing telepaths as the only reliable news source. And of course, Magneto is keeping his thoughts shielded as he always has.
Yeah. And this is something that was also set up in that issue that, you know, neither of us liked particularly well, but where they were building that statue to Magneto. in Genosha, and they were talking about his magnetic waves that were sent out.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he sent out the voices, that's what that was.
Yes.
So that was him setting an electromagnetic like time bomb essentially to to have that EMP wave throughout the planet, under the guise of his last words in Genosha. So again, the story doesn't underline that, but there are a couple like bits of like lines that support it.
Yeah.
So that ends up making that issue make a little bit more sense, even though it's a bit of a slog.
Beak goes on to tell these guys about everything that Magneto has been doing, including keeping Professor X naked, sent all the superheroes on a wild goose chase to find a black hole bomb in Brooklyn. I guess that was the thing that you mentioned a couple of episodes ago, where like where are the Avengers during all this? Like Magneto made a phone call and called it a black hole bomb threat, which is a very specific kind of bomb threat.
Being all it takes to take the Avengers, it's actually probably pretty smart. They said black hole. Like if it just been a bomb threat, then Captain America would just like forward it to the police. Mm-hmm. But just imagine like black hole. Come on, soldiers! Avengers assemble. Let's go. Everyone split up. It's really hand wavy. Like I understand anybody who doesn't like that as an explanation because it's pretty silly.
Yes.
And so they have this. He has this shield up, this electromagnetic shield. And Cyclops like, no, we have super sentinels. We can get through that. Where is everyone? And Beak kind of explains, where everyone else is at. Beast and Emma Frost and Wolverine and Jean Grey. And then he says there are no X-Men left. And Cyclops is like, no, that's not how it looks like to me. Children, I hope you're paying attention because this is going to be one hell of a test.
Yeah.
Like basically leading this next generation of X-Men to take back the city.
Yeah, one fucked up looking Beak, dust to his head, 0 lines throughout this entire thing, basically. Mm-hmm. Phantom X, 3 telepaths, and a human detective guy who's probably like superpowers sleeving a Philly steak in 20 minutes or something.
His devil may care attitude.
What was
the chief doesn't care for?
What was the dude from the Deadpool 2 movie, the Steve or whatever? I like you. You're in.
Yeah, exactly. So Phantom X is like basically, pretty doom and gloom about this. Like he's saying, no, this is what they wanted. This is that war between man and mutant. This is what the Sentinel, the Weapon Plus system wanted. It's already started, and Cyclops is resisting that. No, I'm not going to let him do this. The other, like Jean and the others are still alive. I still believe. And as they're debating this, Beak drops his last little bit of knowledge bomb. Like if the humans are going to make the move, they don't have very much because Magneto's going to turn the Earth upside down.
Yeah.
And he says, well, he wouldn't have the power. It wouldn't be that stupid. And Beak says, no, he's been using drugs. He's been using kick. He is 15 times the Magneto of before. Again, I love 15 times the Magneto.
I do too, man. Just 15 times the Magneto. That's so great.
Yeah. As a standard unit of measurement, I think Magneto is very funny.
I'm just picturing I'm trying to come up with the list of things like 15 times that Jeremy would be doing that was so obnoxious, right? Just like, I'm just going to record 17 podcasts and I'm never going to the gym.
The entire crawfish population of Louisiana in one bite.
Oh man, this very small advantage to all of this weird coronavirus stuff is that the price for crawfish has dropped significantly.
Hell yeah!
Support local businesses, everybody. Buy local crawfish. So yeah, we go back over to Magneto, who is talking with Esme, and also doing a bunch of kick, and as he is wont to do, floating the Zorn head around, which is quite good fun.
Yeah.
And Esme is kind of like just. You're doing too much for it. Like, why don't you just go ahead and turn the world upside down? Like, what are we waiting for? Like, I got all dressed up and like, there's no party. What are we doing? And this is where Eric starts hearing voices.
Yeah.
And this is really, really good because it says, "Here comes your downfall once more." And he turns to Esme and is like, "What did you say?" And she says, "I didn't say anything. Like, you're fucking, where is the person that I fell in love with? Like, you're some weirdo." And of course, Magneto is like, "You're a child. I'm not in love." Like, even through this drug enhanced, crazy supervillain sublime bullshit, he's like, "I'm not, you're like 18 and I'm like 50 something. Like, I don't know."
Kick does not cause ebophilia. It's not the libertarian virus. It's like, it has a line it won't cross. And she, she's obviously rejected. You said we'd take over the world together. You said if I helped you, we could sit on thrones together. Like he basically told her a bunch of lies. And she turns on him like, are you insane? All you are is a means to an end. And she runs away, heartbroken, as the voices continue. It's like as predictable as ever. He looks over and he sees that the thing that's talking to him is the Zorn head.
Yes.
And again, I love this, like, you know, the Zorn head says, like, listen, you made Zorn too well. It's the image of your idealism, your strength, and your wisdom. You know, and I will never stop talking to you. Like, this is the Magneto that is telling, you know, when we see Magneto do all the supervillain shit and we're like, Magneto wouldn't do this, the part of him that's still inside him, like, you know, like being John Malkovich or whatever, telling him that he wouldn't do that is being personified externally as Zorn, as Sublime, like, takes over his brain.
Yeah.
And this is Magneto.
And he flings this Zorn skull, and it breaks, but it doesn't stop talking. Like, you see the jawbone come off of it, but it doesn't stop talking. Like, I am your inner star. I am the conscious you can never silence. I will never let you be. And Magneto realizing, like, oh, like, and immediately, like, thinking, like, oh, this is Charles, right? Like, this Charles did this somehow. And of course, that's not possible because he's in a tube. He's naked in a tube. I don't know if you guys know this, but unless Xavier has at least a tube sock on his dick, he cannot do telepathy. Like, so
no. He's a never nude.
He's
his
a
mental block. Yeah. I love he goes, no, your mind's still jammed, by looking at a little monitor that shows like a little outline of his brain. I just hope if you like close in, it'd be like status jammed. You know.
Like it's fucking Parks and Rec. You got jammed.
Yeah. Brain stat. Yeah. He starts guessing, you know, is this a side effect of the drug? You know, et cetera. And he's kind of bemoaning. He's like, where do you find your children, Charles? Like, they're so loyal. They only listened to me when I was Zorn, which again is very important to Magneto's character, right? Like, Magneto without principles is not something anyone's going to follow.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why Magneto was able to put together a brotherhood and be an effective villain was because he had those principles. And once he abandons them under the auspices of the drug, nobody gives a shit. You know?
Yeah.
He starts kind of saying, you know, I actually miss our talks. I miss our struggles. You know, I was thinking about letting you walk free when this is over, when there are no more humans left. And Charles is like, no, you know, he does not like this. And Magneto, again, writing fan fiction, like, I'll show you a world with no strife. You know, you'll finally turn to me and it is so much nicer without them. You were right. Yes. You were right and I was wrong.
And that's where Ernst shows up with, you know, Martha in tow and says, nobody likes what you're doing, Magneto. It's boring and old-fashioned. Martha says it's all coming to an end and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And this is where shit starts getting a little weird. Yeah.
So Phoenix pops into Charles's mind. Says Charles, and they're taking him into like a mindscape or whatever. He says, are these words from the future? What's happening? And Phoenix is there in these this post-apocalyptic ruins, saying it's not a place. Like, this is not a place. He's like, Jean, is that you? So basically, the end of this issue is with the Phoenix reaching out to Charles and showing him this apocalyptic vision of the future.
Yes.
And that clears us for issue 150 next episode.
Yes. Yeah, what a, like, again, like, my initial reaction on a lot of this Magneto stuff is like, oh god, this is so over the top even for him, like, this is crazy. But if you work backwards, in other words, if you know the stuff that's coming and you go back and read this stuff, all of it makes sense. Like, and I think that's one of the strengths of this arc is it immediately gut punches you with this like crazy twist that Zorn is Magneto. I think that there's some arguments that can be made that some of the stuff like that Zorn did being based on like magnetic powers or whatever, like I still hold to that some of that stuff not like lining up as quite as easily as I want it to. But Magneto going fucking crazy being a result of this like 3 billion year old virus essentially is really good shit. And like having all of his chickens come home to roost as he realizes like, oh wait, like there was people followed me because I had ideals. Like the reason that I inspired a brotherhood of evil mutants is because I had some cool evil plans, like not just destroy the world. Like I was going to remake the world in my image. And having all of that stuff like come home and just like with the silent visage of Xavier just watching him, like it's really good shit. Like that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah. And to me, like looking back on the twist, the thing that is Bugger's belief the most, right? Like, you know, him being a healer, him doing a lot of stuff with nano sentinels, that's fine. Him animating the bird, like that could be a robot bird, or he could just have nano sentinels moving at skeleton stuff. The hardest thing to believe is him having the entire network of associates in China.
Yeah.
You know, he talks about that, it makes a little bit more sense again when you see that Sublime had a whole like mutant organ farm in China, and the idea that like Sublime would obviously be very eager to help out Magneto.
Mhm.
They just need to show it. Like a 2-page little wordless caption of him like waking up on Genosha, getting back to mainland and rebuilding, in montage would have done it. And I think that would have plugged all the holes basically.
Sure. Yeah.
These issues move at a pretty good clip, so I understand why that, there's not time for that. But like that's the biggest thing for me. The power stuff doesn't, bother me that much. This is a world with Forge in it. Like they can make technology to do a lot of that shit. And then, but him just rebuilding in China and setting up that whole thing is a big push even for Sublime.
Yeah. I mean, they still got Craigslist over there, so it's probably easier than we're thinking. So
yeah, exactly. They're doing better, man. They just, they're doing pretty good. So yeah, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
If you like this show, head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and kick us some bucks, get episodes all in one big lump episode, support the network, get a bunch of cool free stuff. We really appreciate it.
Lumpy episodes. I love it. If you can't do that, ratings and reviews go a long way. Like this one from Zim Chuck, who gave us 5 stars and says, I haven't read a comic in 20 years, but I have always loved the X-Men, and the fun energy that Gary and Jeremy bring to the show is enough to make it fun. I haven't seen or read most of what they talk about, so I can only assume that they know what they are talking about. And even if they don't, it's still an enjoyable listen. So yeah, thanks. I think Zim Chuck. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's 5 stars is the important.
Exactly.
Guppy has taught me anything. That is 100% the important.
Nobody else is going to read anything about it. We'll be back in a couple of days with the conclusion of Planet X. I didn't want to interrupt anything, but you said what, bugger's belief instead of beggar's belief, and I just really I'm picturing somebody just going fucking ham on belief,
like a Chuck Tingle.
Oh, dude,
like pounded in the butt by my own belief. Yeah.